Athletes and coaches, as you're coming in, you may want to be towards the outside of the aisle so it's a little easier to get out. So athletes and coaches that are being recognized may want to be towards the edge so you can get out a little bit easier.
Well, good evening. Please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Navy JROTC from East Hall High School, and I ask that you remain standing for the national anthem sung by Chesty High School junior Emma Peak, Vice President of the Chesty High School Chorus Club.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. You may be seated. Well, good evening once again. My name is Stan Lewis. I am the Director of Communications and Athletics for the Hall County School District, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 6th annual Hall County Schools Torch Awards, a very special evening where we gather to honor some truly exceptional young people, our senior male and female athletes of the year. These students have spent the last 4 years giving their very best in the classroom, in competition, and in the way they've carried themselves as leaders. They've built relationships, overcome challenges, and embraced the life lessons that come with sports, and we all know them: perseverance, discipline, teamwork, integrity. Their journeys have not only shaped who they are, but they've also inspired those around them. They bring us together, they lift us up, and they remind us of the good that's possible when character and passion meet purpose. The Torch Award is our district's highest athletic honor. It's given each year to one male and one female senior athlete from each of our 7 traditional high schools. These young men and women are living examples of the ideals we value in the Hall County Athletic Program: character, courage, and the passion to compete. While some of them may be among the most gifted athletes to come through our programs, that's not really what defines a Torch Award winner. What truly sets them apart is how they lead, by example, with heart, and with a deep commitment to doing things the right way. They carry a symbolic torch, lighting the way for others through their actions, their integrity, and their relentless pursuit of excellence. Before we begin tonight's ceremony, I would like to recognize a few people that made tonight possible. First of all, thank you very much to Chesty High School Principal Christy Cantrell and Athletic Director Dave Bishop, along with their incredible team for hosting tonight's ceremony. Please give them a round of applause. They had the Lion King in here the other night, and I'm telling you, I could not believe how quickly they broke this stage down and got ready for tonight. It was incredible. A special thanks also to Stephen McIntyre and the talented student media team at Chestatee for handling all of tonight's audio and video production. They've been incredible. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, kids. Let's give them a round of applause. The programs and the invitations that we use, those were printed by Grayson Anthony in his graphic arts department over at Johnson High School. Please give Grayson a round of applause in Johnson High School. And I want to thank my team of athletic directors, middle and high school level, who worked hard to help coordinate this event and put it all together. Special thank you to them. And we shouldn't forget our sponsor, North Georgia Healthcare System, whose sponsorship makes this evening possible and whose generosity provides a small scholarship to each one of our Torch Award recipients. Let's give North Georgia Healthcare a round of applause. And finally, we couldn't recognize these students without also recognizing the coaches who have mentored, supported, and believed in them every step of the way. Continuing a tradition we're proud of, each middle and high school in our district also named a Torch Award Coach of the Year. These coaches represent the very best of what we stand for. They've poured their time, wisdom, and heart into our student athletes, not just shaping competitors, but helping shape young lives. Let's celebrate them tonight. Coaches, as I call your name, please come up to the stage to receive your award from Assistant Athletic Director Eric Raddick, and I would ask that you line up here on the stage. We're going to start down at this bottom level here and then finish up at the top. From Cherokee Bluff Middle School, Brooke Baker. From Cherokee Bluff High School, Cassie Scott. Coach Scott led her team to a state championship this year. From Chesty Academy, Micah Mills. Not here. Okay. From Chesty High School, Stuart Cunningham. From East Hall Middle School, she just keeps winning this thing, Mia Torres. From East Hall High School, basketball coach Joe Dix. Joe is not feeling well tonight, so East Hall High School Athletic Director Adam Rich will be accepting on Joe's behalf. From C.W. Davis Middle School, Coach James Ponder. From Flowery Branch High School, Ashley Lewis. From South Hall Middle School, Amy Berry. Okay, I'm going to embarrass Amy a little bit here. She is a former student of mine at Johnson High School, and she was a Torch Award winner as a senior athlete at Johnson High School in 2020, and now she is receiving this award as Coach of the Year. So a two-timer up here, Amy Berry. From Johnson High School, head coach Chad Cole. Still in the weight room, Coach Cole. From World Language Academy Middle School, Coach Jay Stalvey. From North Hall Middle School, Sarah Riddle. From North Hall High School, Coach Josh Montesinos. Coach Montesinos led his wrestling team to a runner-up position in the state tournament this year. From West Hall Middle School, Ariel Sabina. And from West Hall High School, head coach Chuck Graham. All right, these individuals represent the very best of our coaches. They pour into our young people day after day. Let's give them a big round of applause for what they do. All right, coaches, y'all can have a seat. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you one of my bosses, but he's also a dear friend, Assistant Superintendent for Personnel, Dr. Brad Brown, and he is going to introduce our keynote speaker for tonight's ceremony, Dr. Brad Brown.
Good evening. And I tell you, I don't know when I've been more excited to introduce someone to you today as I am. So I'll go ahead and get started. Charlie Culberson is a former Major League Baseball player known for his versatility, his clutch performances, and professionalism both on and off the field. A native of Rome, Georgia, Charlie was a standout athlete at Calhoun High School before being selected in the first round of the 2007 MLB draft. Over nearly 2 decades in professional baseball, he played for several teams, including San Francisco Giants, Colorado Rockies, Los Angeles Dodgers, Texas Rangers, and most notably, our dear Atlanta Braves. Beloved by Braves fans as Charlie Clutch for his timely hitting and hustle. And additionally, he earned a World Series ring during his career and is now a broadcaster for the Atlanta Braves. One of the reasons I'm so excited to introduce him is I had the pleasure of being Charlie's principal during his 4 years at Calhoun High School. And I watched him grow, literally and figuratively, from an innocent, young 5'4" freshman into a 6'1" incredible leader and young man. And I can tell you this without hesitation, that he is the best high school baseball player I've ever seen. He could hit, he could run, field, pitch, he could do it all. And he was a cornerstone of the state championship team his senior year. But as great of a player as Charlie was, he was an even better student. And if every student had been like Charlie, I could have just stayed home and phoned it in. He was an even better person. I have no doubt that if the Torch Awards had existed when he was in high school, he would have won that award as well. He is a devoted husband to his wife, Sarah, and their 3 kids. And we're honored to have her with us this evening. And he continues to inspire through his character, his work ethic, and his love for the game. Charlie is, in every sense of the word, a class act. Charlie will come speak after the highlight video. And to be clear, when I asked him about a promo video, he humbly said, just put up a picture. But I thought he deserved a little bit more. So with the help of Stephen McIntyre, one of CHS's very own, we have a video that will give you a glimpse of his journey and what his career and his life are all about and what is most important to him. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Charlie Clutch Culberson.
Final regular man available to pinch hit for the Braves. High fly ball, hit deep toward left center, at the track, at the wall, Charlie walks us off again. High fly ball, belted deep left, solo back, Charlie walks him off again. What an incredible homestand for Charlie Culberson. Center cut, and he was in launch mode.
There go, digs in, and front
struck
door
him
flyer.
out, front door. Wow, breaking out Chazo. Swinging a high fly ball, that's down the line. Ozuna back, and it's gone. Broken back, fly ball. Charlie on the run, still coming, slides, and he got it. What a catch by Charlie Culberson. Get a line drive to left. Charlie Culberson's there, made the catch. Runner tags, coming home, throw on line, and they got him. What a throw. 9 o'clock comes early for Charlie Culberson, not with the bat, but with the glove and the arm. Alfaro thrown out at the plate for a double play. 4 runs as this ball is hit a mile high, deep to left. Charlie Culberson, can you believe it? A pinch hit home run. Another chance for Charlie. Sliding stop, second base. What a play! Gorgeous play by Charlie Culberson. And it's lined and caught. There's one. Flip to second, double play. Great catch by Charlie Clutch at shortstop to save a run. Your Atlanta Braves
This super utility star is best known for his multiple pinch hit walk-off homers that earned him the nickname Charlie Clutch. Fans, give it up for Charlie Culberson!
Charlie swung on a high fly ball to deep left field. The Dodger fans, Yankees, would you believe a home run? And the Dodgers have clinched the division and will celebrate on schedule.
I grew up in Rome, Georgia. Rome's a small town, so many good people, so many great memories there. Grew up with a sister, she's 4 years older than me. Chelsea, she was a big athlete. And my parents, Charles and Kim, they did so much for us. My dad played professional baseball. He started having kids and needed to hang it up.
Charlie, was kind of a small player growing up. Even though he could play, he had to really work harder than a lot of the other kids that was bigger than him, which was fine. But I think it kind of made him into who he is today.
That's what he did, so I wanted to be like him. So he was probably my biggest influence. He was always my go-to coach and still is. If there's something that, I need to ask, then I call my dad because he probably has a good answer for me. And then my mom, probably my #1 fan, so she's another influence for me because she encourages me every single day.
After all the stuff he's been through, the ups and downs, and still enjoy playing the game as he did when he was 6 years old. He has fun playing, good days, bad days. He still enjoys being out there.
Final regular.
Well, thanks for making me tear up tonight. I wasn't expecting that. Sorry that I'm late. Oh, I don't need this, do I? I have the mic. That's right. I might walk around a little bit. Yeah, sorry we're late. I wasn't expecting the video, but it is pretty cool to see some highlights. It just shows a little bit of the work that went into being a baseball player, and getting a chance to play for the Braves was a lot of fun, so I appreciate it. You snuck that one in on me. Stan Lewis, thank you for having me. And I was doing some research, and y'all started this in 2020, correct? You said something in a statement, lighting the way, true leadership and example, about what you guys are doing here, about the athletes and the coaches. I think it's awesome that you guys started an award like this to develop character in student athletes while igniting the passion and courage to compete. It just shows you that just because, or if you're the best player on the field because of your stats, there's always going to be really good players out there, but we all have to have, we need the character people too. We need the glue guys, the glue girls, to keep teams together, to keep teams around, and to keep teams going. So again, I wish we were here earlier to see everyone get awarded, but I feel like that's probably the best honor that you could receive. Oh, I'm on time. Well, I saw everybody up here earlier, so I'm okay. That was coaches. Okay, good. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're here on time. As a parent now of 3 kids, I feel like we're always running late, right? That's us. I'll admit it. We're running late a lot. But again, you guys saw a little bit about me, heard a little bit about my story. Growing up in Rome, Georgia, my parents are great. They sacrificed a lot for myself and for my sister Chelsea. Sometimes even driving an hour and a half one way to practice, south of Atlanta from Rome, Georgia. Looking back on it, I think that's pretty crazy, but my parents loved doing things for us because we had a love for the game, a love for the sport that we played, and I give a lot of credit to my parents for doing that for us. I eventually moved to Calhoun, where I met Dr. Brown as a principal of mine, and he was right. I was 5'4" as a freshman, and so I was the runt of the litter at Calhoun, and a new school too. A new school for me, it was a challenge. It was meeting new people, trying to fit in. I'm sure a lot of you kids here can attest to that. I feel like it's probably harder nowadays with social media and kind of how life is. It's harder to fit in. But my idea was to keep my head down, do what was right, or they'd kick me back to Coosa, and I didn't want to go back to Coosa. Funny story off of that. We have East Hall in here? Okay, so I was in 7th grade at Coosa Middle. My sister went to Coosa High School. We drove and we watched Coosa play East Hall High School in the Final Four. And anybody remember the Causey brothers? Matt and Mark Causey? So that's all we heard about was Matt and Mark Causey. We had a chance to see those kids play, and it was pretty impressive. We ended up losing one of our guys, Mike Dean, shot a three-pointer too late, and they said he didn't make it before the buzzer, and the refs ran out of the gym. And so he made the shot, but we were playing at East Hall, so we all know how that goes, right? But again, that was my Hall County story, seeing the Causey brothers, and so that was pretty cool, and that was in the year 2002, so it was a lot of fun for me to witness great high school athletes that we can talk about forever, I feel like. A special thing about today for me, again, I don't want to talk about myself too much more, but 13 years ago today was Mother's Day. May the 13th, 2012, I actually made my Major League Baseball debut that day in Arizona. It was a whirlwind of a night, but the really cool thing about it was my wife, who was pregnant with our first daughter, Collins, was able to fly out to Arizona. I called my mom and dad from Fresno, California at 10:30 West Coast time, 1:30 here in Georgia. They hopped on an 8:30 flight and met me in Arizona the next day. So I had my mom and my dad and my sister, who was always there for me, to push me, to beat me up, to dress me up like a girl when I was a kid. So the cool thing about stories like that, moments like that, again, I'm the person that I don't like to take credit. I was able to share that day that was a dream of mine to play Major League Baseball. I was able to share it with my family in the stands. And so that's something that was when Dr. Brown called and asked if I would be willing to come up here and speak. I was like, May the 13th. That's a pretty cool day. A fun anniversary, being Mother's Day as well, sharing that with our moms and with my wife who was pregnant. Fast forward a little bit, I want to hit on tonight on what these awards are all about. Character, courage, and passion to compete. I feel like character is huge, as we know, especially when you're on a stage, when you're on a basketball court, when you're on a baseball field or a softball field, on the football field. Any sport that you play, you're showcasing your talents in front of everybody else, your family, friends, other schools. Character, I feel like, when times are tough, really shows what kind of person you are. For me, I tried my best not only to think about myself, but to think about my teammates, to think about my mom and dad in the stands watching me. Was I perfect every time? Absolutely not. But I tried to be as even keel as possible and know that I was out there not only to play for myself, but to play for, when I was at Calhoun, I was playing for the name on the front. I was playing for my teammates. I was playing for Dr. Brown, my principal. Because if I showed my butt on the baseball field, I was probably going to go to the principal's office. Character plays a huge role in life. It plays a huge role in sports. Like it really shows what kind of person we are. It shows how we were brought up. It shows the influences that you had in your life, that you currently have in your life. And I owe a lot to everybody that helped me along the way. Because we all know that it's not just us that does it. We don't go through life and go through sports by ourselves. It takes a team, it takes a village to create good people. Courage. We got some Braves fans in here? A few? I have a couple examples of courage and things that I went through as a player on the field. Some of you might have remembered when I got hit in the face. That was actually my son's birthday, so that was an easy day to remember. I got called on to pinch hit, but they told me I was going to bunt. And so I square around to bunt. Fastball comes right at my face, 91 miles an hour. No time to get out of the way. Luckily, no surgery. My vision was fine, but it did shatter the right side of my face. So Sarah gets a phone call saying, Charlie's on the ground bleeding. Luckily, I was okay. I flew home the next day. But talk about getting back in the box. It was not easy. That was the middle of September. They told me I was going to be done for the season. Luckily for me, I was kind of relieved. I didn't have to get back on the box. It took all off season and then going back to spring training with the Braves the next year to get back in the box and face the fear. Like it's something that I've done my whole life, almost 25 years up to this point. Never been hit in the face. But I felt like that was a time that I had to show courage when I was playing baseball to get back in the box, to do something that I've always done, to have Sarah, my wife, say, hey, you got this, you can do it. Having a friend of mine that was a teammate say, I'm going to throw you a first pitch fastball. That way you could just swing the bat. It was a pretty crazy time, but you know, I was fortunate. I had the opportunity to play a game for a long time. And again, to be able to play for a hometown team was even better. Passion to compete. I'll tell a story. I've told this story a few times. We all like wearing our jersey, correct? Is it tough to take the jersey off? I see some head nods. But the reason why it's hard to take that jersey off is because we love the game, we love the sport, we love to compete. Every year at the end of the season, especially when I was able to play in the major leagues, I would sit at my locker and sit there with my jersey on while everybody else is taking their jersey off. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, Freddie Freeman's going to keep playing. Nick Markakis is going to keep playing. Clayton Kershaw had a chance to play with the Dodgers for a couple years. He's going to keep playing. All these guys that will be able to say, hey, I'm done, when they take their jersey off for the last time, they know they're done. They had that luxury. I was a player that did not. In my heart, I knew that I loved the game and I loved to play. And taking that jersey off was hard. It was really hard because I didn't know becoming a free agent, not knowing if I was going to be able to play baseball again. And at some point, our athletic careers come to an end, some earlier, some later. Again, I was able to play professional baseball for 17 years, but I always loved wearing the jersey. To be able to play for the team on the front, but then I started bouncing around. I was like, I got to play for my name. I got to play for myself and my family. No, I was grateful for every opportunity that I had. And then some of you knew that I tried pitching at the end of my career. I loved it. It allowed me to love baseball again. Towards the end of my career as a position player, I was being told, no, you're not good enough, or you're too old, which is, I felt like I'm still young. I can still do it. But sometimes baseball, other sports, other companies tell you differently. So I started pitching. And the reason why I tried that is because I always told myself when my baseball career as a position player was going to be over, I'm going to try pitching. You don't see too many people do that. But with the support of Sarah and my kids and my family and friends, for me, it showed that that was kind of a courageous thing to step out of being a Major League Baseball player as a position player. And I signed a minor league deal to go back to spring training with the Braves. Yeah, I signed back with the Braves like 6 times. I don't know why. They kept releasing me, and I signed back. But I had a passion to play baseball. I had a love for baseball and what it has given me over the course of my career and my life. It also allowed me to show my kids that Dad could do something hard. I knew that my back was going to be against the wall trying to pitch, trying to get back to the big leagues as a pitcher when most people doubted me. But it was fun, and again, it brought out the love that I had when I was a little kid. Because there's times where we play a sport and it gets hard, you don't love it anymore because it's hard and people keep telling you no. That was something that I did for myself too. I was able to go back and pitch until the Braves released me in spring training. So, but I tried, and for me as a baseball player, I feel like I gave it all that I had. For me, it was like there was no regrets. There was no regrets in playing baseball. What ifs, or if I should have done that. I was almost telling myself, hey, I'm putting it all in. I'm putting all my chips in for this. And then now I know that I did all that I could, but then it was time to be husband and it was time to be dad. And so that was something that I missed a lot of, even though I played in Atlanta a few years. Even though we were home, I was never really home. Sarah basically raised our 3 kids by herself. So now that I'm home, I realize I need to go play baseball again because being a stay-at-home dad is not easy. So to all you moms or whoever stays at home, good for y'all. Y'all got the hard job. Again, back when Dr. Brown asked me to speak about these 3 characteristics, igniting the passion and courage to compete, it's pretty special. I feel like I would have been very honored to have received this award in high school. I think it shows, as we walk in here, it's a smaller group, which is pretty awesome. 7 high schools, correct? Big high schools too, right? Bigger than Calhoun. Yes, bigger than Calhoun. So all of you students that received this award, I feel like you've done something right. A lot of things right along the way. To you coaches, y'all have done a lot of things right too. And I think that you will agree with me on this. We have coaches in our life not only coach us a game, but teach us along the way, teach us about life, teach us about hard times. And if a student comes back to see you later on, and if they can still call you coach, that means you've done something right. And there are still coaches that I have in my phone, and when I call them, it's always Coach Henderson, Coach Navalu, Coach Earl. These are the ones that I knew that were more than a coach to me. They were a mentor, they were a friend, they were like another dad to me. But they taught me more than just baseball. They taught me more than just football or basketball. They taught me about life. And I feel like as a parent, if my kids are going somewhere, we want to make sure that they're comfortable there. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, they're being taught the right way, but they're loved. And I feel like all of you coaches truly care and love for each one of your students, and that matters a lot. And now as a parent, 12-year-old, 9-year-old, 8-year-old, we're going through the thick of it now. We want to make sure that they're around great people and great coaches. I'll hit back on courage really quick. Courage is having the ability and the want to go out and do something that's really hard. Like Dr. Brown said, I was 5'4" as a freshman. I knew that trying to compete for my high school baseball team was going to be very hard. But it was something that I loved, and I knew that I had to go out there and do it, right? I had to go out there and do something that was hard, being courageous enough to put yourself in tough situations. I always say that pressure is a privilege, and we've heard that before from other people. If you're in pressure situations, that means you've done something right. If it's easy all the time, it doesn't really matter. So I thought there's been many pressure situations that I've had to go through. From breaking my hand in Augusta, I got mad. My first full season in 2008, I was upset with a call by the umpire, and I punched a metal paper towel dispenser. If you do that, you got to hit it in the middle. Don't hit it on the side. I hit it on the side, my knuckle went back to here. And so what did I do? This is the 9th inning. I pulled it out, kind of somewhat back in place, and I actually played extra innings that night. Ended up getting a hit and throwing a guy out from home, or from shortstop to home. Well, after the game, my hand was this big. I had to go in and tell my coach, my manager. And then in baseball, you have field coordinators who are like all over the minor leagues. It's like the head guy over the minor leagues. He was in town. Our hitting instructor, our minor league hitting instructor was in town. So what better time to break your hand and punch a wall when you have like the guys in town? Well, I had to step up. I had to go and tell them that I messed up. Coming back from that was tough, but it was my mistake. It was something that I did. I let my emotions get to me, and I paid the price. But those are failures that we go through and situations that we go through that we learn the most from. Luckily, the next year I went back to Augusta and I met Sarah. So there's a reason why I punched that paper towel dispenser. There's a reason for everything. I'll wrap it up with this, and I would love for people to ask questions as well, because I know that I'm not going to hit everything, but whatever you have, I'd love to be able to answer. One great coach that I had, and I feel like this kind of lines up with the mission statement. Does anybody know Ron Washington? He used to be the info coach for the Braves. That guy's a trip, by the way. He's awesome. He's someone that I respect to the fullest. Here's a guy that was in baseball for over 50 years, and he's showing up at 6:30 in the morning in spring training, ready to put 15 guys through work. He would always put a quote of the day on our desk every single day in Atlanta. And at the top, it would say ACE, which I think is pretty cool because our son's name's Ace. Attitude, commitment, and effort. Sports are hard. Baseball's really hard. Trying to play at the highest level. Life is hard too. And I tell my son and our two daughters this, and I'm able to help out with my son's baseball team. We want to keep it simple. Come to the field with a great attitude, not just for yourself, but for your teammates and your coaches. When times get tough, think about the person to your left and right. Because when we think about ourselves all the time, that's when we start to bury ourselves. It kind of takes a load off of us. Commitment. Commit yourself to the process. Commit yourself to whatever you're doing. And I know life is hard. I know things get crazy and things get sped up on us. But we all try our best, and I still do to this day. I try my best to kind of live in the moment, to enjoy the moment, commit myself when I'm at home to Sarah, to my kids. Even though Everly, our youngest, was wanting me to go jump on the trampoline before I left, it killed me that I couldn't go jump on the trampoline, but we'll do that tomorrow. Commit yourself to the process, to the grind. Again, I try my best to do that every single day because I never knew when it was going to be my last playing baseball, but I very much enjoyed being done playing baseball too. And then the last one, effort. Sometimes it's really hard to give your best effort, but the great thing about those three words is that it doesn't take any physical ability. You don't have to be the absolute best. We don't have to be Aaron Judge, even though it would be pretty cool. He is pretty awesome. He is someone to look up to as well. His character is off the charts, how he takes care of people. Being good at sports just isn't about how we look, how fast we are, how strong we are, how many points we score, how many home runs we hit. It's about having a good attitude. It's about being committed to whatever you're doing to your team and always giving a good effort. And I think if we can keep things that simple and in life, I think we'd all be pretty good. I try to tell myself that every day. Sometimes life gets hard and gets fast. Even though I'm telling these little 9-year-olds, hey, attitude, commitment, effort. No, I'm really telling that to myself. Because it is tough. It is tough. I've really enjoyed the process of the transition out of baseball. Not knowing what I'm going to do next, allowing Sarah to kind of help me through the process as well. But I always knew that I wanted to do something that I could impact others. I feel like was honestly my main goal as a baseball player. It wasn't to be highlighted on TV. It wasn't to be on ESPN Top 10 or hitting home runs. The thing that I honestly enjoyed the most was being able to connect with fans, was being able to have my wife bring our kids to the field before games and have dinner on a school night, having them come on the road. It was things that were off the field that mattered to me the most. Connecting to somebody that came to batting practice, being able to sign an autograph. And if I didn't, my mom was going to call me and she was going to get all over me. Every time my parents were with me, they would say, hey, you better sign for that kid. Because they would see a lot of people just pass up kids all the time. And so that was a character thing that I enjoyed. I did not do it to say, hey, look at Charlie, he's doing that. I did it because I love doing it. I was a kid once before wanting autographs, wanting to meet my favorite players. And it's crazy, those little acts of kindness can go a long way, can help somebody when they're down. So I didn't want to be known as just a baseball player. Honestly, I wanted to be known as a good person, a person with high character. And if you saw me play, hopefully I was one that you could root for, because I tried my best every single day to show passion on the field. And that was one of my main goals as a baseball player, to be able to show that you can be 5'4" as a freshman and still make it. You can have a scout tell you you're never going to play shortstop in the major leagues, and then catch the last out in the National League Championship Series at shortstop to go to the World Series. Those are moments that were awesome. I enjoyed playing baseball. I enjoyed being able to show my passion to all the fans out there. And hopefully, talking about baseball now and doing radio, I hope to share that same message and talk about these players and talk about their passion for the game and the high character that they have as well. Again, thank you for having me tonight, and my wife Sarah. And if it's okay with you guys, I'd love to be able to answer any questions that y'all may have. Hopefully there's a question.
You kind of touched on it, but a memory that you go, yeah, that was it. When you think about your career, you get a lot of highlights.
Yeah.
That were the walk-offs and the others, and the Vin Scully moment.
Yeah, the Vin Scully moment was pretty crazy. 67 years of broadcasting, and that was his last home call ever. And I actually played the whole game. I wasn't taken out. They let me play. I mean, that was a thing, right? Utility player. A lot of times I wasn't playing the whole game. I was being pinch hit for. No, that was an awesome moment. And I'm not just saying this, but this is probably one of the coolest moments I had as an Atlanta Brave. In 2019, I had a bobblehead. Well, I had half a bobblehead, the Swamberson bobblehead. And I asked Dansby, I said, hey, Dansby, like, is it okay if, you know, my wife and kids come out on the field that day before the game? Oh, sure. And Dansby's probably thinking, I'm going to have many more bobbleheads, so sure, you can take this day. No, but he was fine about it. But the memory that probably stands out the most to me was being able to have Sarah and the kids on the field with me that day. My oldest, Collins, she was 6.5. She got to throw out the first pitch, and she threw a strike. And then Ace was scared to death to be on the field. And then Everly was our youngest. She was 2. I think she had just turned 2. She was running around with Blooper. And so it was a great day for them. But being honest, that was probably the coolest moment, one of the coolest moments I had, and it wasn't me playing baseball. It was being able to share a moment with my family on the field, kind of letting them get the spotlight. Because our wives and kids go through a lot. Not seeing Dad being on the road, missing a lot. And so being able to share the field with them was probably one of the biggest highlights for me. Mm-hmm.
Charlie, what would these seniors are about to graduate from high school and move on to life, and there's a lot of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about you leaving baseball behind, going to broadcast now, lots of uncertainty. What would be some advice that you would have?
I talk about stories of high school all the time about how much fun we had. You're not getting paid. You don't have well, some of you might have jobs in high school, but when you're playing a sport, playing for your high school, there really wasn't much better than that. Just being honest, like the highlights and stuff, I mean, it was great. Living out a childhood dream, being able to play a game, but a lot of times I was looking over my shoulder like, am I going to be sent down? Am I going to be released? But being a senior at Calhoun High School, those are memories that are very fond. We actually won our sophomore year, but we lost in our senior year. We won the first game and lost the next 2. So the last 2 games really stung. I think people need to be around these kids because the kids that are getting the awards tonight, they've done something right. Surrounding yourself with good people with the right intentions. I did not go to college. I signed to go to Kennesaw State, but was drafted out of high school, and so I didn't have the college. I didn't go to college, so I don't really know what that's all about, honestly. But I think just surrounding yourself with good people, people like yourself with the right goals in mind, the right mindset. There's going to be some bumps in the road. Be committed to a good routine. I'm sure routines in college can be different, if I had to guess. Call your mom and dad. Make sure you call them to check in. The transition for me after baseball, I feel like I had to think about what's next for a long time. Had a back surgery in 2015. Didn't know if I was going to play again. So I was always thinking about what I was going to do next. Baseball was kind of like it for me, something I loved. But I think, again, just going back to it, just surrounding yourself with really good people, a good, clear mindset. Again, calling your parents, checking in on them because they're probably worried to death about you. I think things change for us with what we want to do. But make sure that you still love what you're doing and have a passion for what you're doing. Yeah, every single day. Facing Jacob deGrom. No, it was, I think for me, when I remember facing a pitcher in San Francisco. I was up with the Giants for 11 days, and then I got sent back down to AAA. There was a pitcher, his name was Jaime Garcia, and he threw me a cutter, a 2-seamer, a sinker, and a 4-seamer. So 4 fastballs that moved in different directions, and I'm thinking there's no chance I'm going to be able to stay up here. And I didn't. I went down. But I faced him back with the Braves, and I ended up hitting a home run off of him. Matt Holliday, maybe the same game, I was playing second base. He hit a ball to me. So a right-hander hit a ball to me. It looked like it was going to hit the ground. I jumped and caught it over my head. So these guys were different. They were bigger, they were faster, and I was getting ready for a ground ball, and I had to jump. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is a different level. But once I stopped worrying about like the names on the back of the jersey, I think that kind of helped me out. You know, I had a chance to face Clayton Kershaw. You know, he'll be a Hall of Famer. Who talk about this stuff right here, Clayton Kershaw's at the top of it. He helped me and Sarah and our kids out during postseasons when we were living out of hotels. They'd let us come over to the house and do laundry. And so here I am trying to compete on the field. Had a chance to I started 3 of the 5 games against the Cubs in the National League Championship Series at shortstop. And when we go back to LA, we're doing laundry at the Kershaw's house because we had 10 suitcases or something like that. So that was an example of someone I wanted to hit on, so thanks for asking that question. But yeah, I think just knowing that you belong with whatever you're doing, we're going to doubt ourselves, but until we realize that, and for me, it was just a game. Those guys are just better because they're just more consistent. That's it. And so facing guys that I looked up to when I was younger, it's like, oh no, they still got to throw the ball over the plate. But some of them I still couldn't hit because they're still too good. That was probably my aha moment, I think, when I realized that I did belong. That all these guys went through the same thing that I went through. Some are better, some weren't as good, but the ones that weren't as good that were able to stay at that level for so long, it's because they believed in themselves. And they believed that this is a game and that they belong there. Is that good? Oh, thank you. Sorry, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Test. All right, good. 2 things just jumped out at me as Charlie was talking. Humility and respect. Respect for himself, respect for the game, respect for his teammates, and respect for others. Just great job. Thank you, Charlie. Well, and now it's time. Let's meet our 2025 Torch Award recipients.
From Cherokee Bluff High School, Male Athlete of the Year, Landon Kemp.
My name is Landon Kemp. I play football and baseball, and I'm very grateful and thankful for this award. I'd like to thank my dad for being my coach and being a good leader towards me, and also my teammates for just being good teammates and helping me through this journey. And I just wanted to say how grateful I am for this award. And go Bears.
Presented by head coach Jeremy Kemp.
I'm way better looking than Jeremy Kemp, just in case y'all are wondering. Obviously, Coach Kemp wasn't able to be here tonight. Our baseball team, along with Landon, they're playing in the Final Four right now down in Peach County. I'm Coach Tommy Jones. I was Landon's football coach and have the privilege to be here tonight to talk just a little bit about Landon Kemp and who he is, both as a player and as a person. But before I do that, I just want to say, events like tonight, these Torch Awards, I've had a chance to come to multiple of these awards, are what makes Hall County such a special place to work and such a special place to be, because they value the intangible characteristics that go so much deeper, the character, the competition, the passion, and those things that we're talking about. And I'm really grateful to Mr. Schofield, to Stan and Eric both for giving us a platform to be able to identify these things. Quick story about Landon Kemp. Some of you guys know who Landon is, know how he was raised. Landon, I've had the privilege of being able to, I'm not sure, maybe too far. I've had the privilege of being able to, I'm just going to step aside. I've had the privilege of being able to know Landon the entire time we've been at Cherokee Bluff. One of the cool things about this year's senior class that we had at Cherokee Bluff, particularly in football, is these guys were sixth graders when our school opened. And for those of you who know, our schools were together, they were merged. So we've literally gotten to watch these young men, including Landon at the top, grow up right before us. Landon was a very good athlete, you guys know that. In the ninth grade, though, playing fall baseball in the middle of football season, Landon took a throw that ricocheted, hit him in the face, shattered his face, and so Coach Kemp, Jeremy, comes to me, and Jeremy explains, the doctors are telling me that Landon is out for the year. He won't play football anymore. And Landon had actually worked himself into playing a pretty vital role for our football team, even as a freshman back then. It wasn't 2 weeks, and Coach Kemp looks at me and he says, I think Landon can show up and watch practice. 3 days later, is it okay if Landon just wears a helmet and watches practice? About 3 or 4 days later, I look out in the JV game and Landon's on kickoff team covering the kick. That just shows the grit, the determination, the toughness that Landon had. Fast forward 4 years, about 3 or 4 days before we start official practice, Coach Kemp calls me and says, Tommy, I'm so sorry. Landon just had an ATV accident. I think he's going to be fine. You don't have to say anything. I know he's going to be fine. I mean, if a shattered face puts him out for about a week or two, then I know that he'll be fine. Landon had a great career, both in football and baseball. He was a 4-year starter in baseball. Landon's had over 100 hits in his career, well over 100 hits, well over 100 stolen bases. Hit 350 for a career. He signed with Gaston College. He's going to go play baseball at Gaston College. As a football player, Landon did tremendous things for us on the field. Was a 3-year starter, started every game in safety for us, also played receiver. Our career leader in interceptions. In fact, he had 5 his senior year, and 3 of those were game-saving interceptions that allowed us to win a football game. But those only tell a small picture of who Landon is. Like I mentioned earlier, it is the intangible characteristics that Landon has, his grit, his determination, his mental toughness, his ability to overcome and persevere. I mean, they're exactly what these awards are all about. I can't say enough good things about Landon Kemp, and I'm really proud to be able to be up here tonight. Called out of the bullpen to be able to come and to be able to share a little bit about him, because Coach Kemp wasn't able to be with us. But Landon Kemp, well deserving of this award.
From Chestatee High School, Female Athlete of the Year, Caroline Bull.
Hi, my name is Caroline Bull and I play basketball. I'm super grateful to receive this award, and I'm honored to represent Chestatee in its athletics. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for giving me these talents and abilities and opportunities to play the sport that I love. I'd like to thank my family for always supporting me, all my coaches I've had, especially Coach Shirley, for guiding me through the sport and helping me to be the best person I can be. And I want to thank my friends, my teammates, and the community for the overwhelming support. Thank you. Go War Eagles.
Presented by head coach Sutton Shirley.
All right, so first the easy part for Caroline. Caroline has been to the state track meet twice. She's been to the state cross country meet 3 times. She was able to play in the state basketball tournament all 4 years of her career. She scored 1,198 career points, slightly less than what her mom accomplished a few years ago. She hit 241 career three-pointers. They didn't keep that stat historically before I got here, but it's the most that anyone I've ever coached has hit in a career. She's a part of the winningest class, basketball-wise, in Chestatee's school history. with 89 career wins. She's won a Lanier Land tournament. She's won 2 region championships. And she has incredible accomplishments sports-wise. I'm going to tell 3 stories, and she's going to be really mad about 2 of them. But she made me do this, so that's perfectly fine, my revenge. First, her passion to compete. When I got the job at Chestatee, similar to the Cherokee Bluff story, Caroline was going into 6th grade, and I remember meeting with some of the middle schoolers and doing a workout with 5th, 6th, and 7th graders at the time. So she's 11, something like that, 10 or 11 years old. And when we got done, she wasn't the best basketball player. She wasn't the biggest kid. She wasn't the most athletic at the time. But when we were done with it, I looked at the other coaches and I said, who is that? And it was all because of her competitiveness. It didn't matter what we were doing. She wanted to be the best at it. She wanted to compete. And she has strived to do that for the last 7 years, whether it be track, cross country, or basketball. So the passion to compete, she definitely has. Courage, her freshman year, 14 years old, we were playing a really big game that was impactful in our state playoff standings. And Caroline was our 6th man that year. And I looked at her and I told her how important it was for her to go in the game and guard the other team's point guard, Deshauna Foote. I'll never forget her name, Cedar Shoals. Said, you have to guard this girl. You have to shut her down. You've got to stay in front of her. We've got to limit her. Well, the plays keep going on. She's sitting at the scorer's table, and when it becomes her time to sub in the game, we end up on offense. And she is guarding Deshauna Foote very, very well, even though we're trying to inbound the ball. So she quickly got taken out of that game. There was a lot of people in the stands. It was right here in our gym. And she was talked to very firmly when she got to the bench. And for a second, I thought, oh gosh, I've lost her. She's 14. I've just, I've got her pretty good in front of a lot of people, that kind of thing. We win the game, and we're playing in the first round, and because of some unluckiness, we're playing the number 5 team in the state, and we're down early. Caroline goes in the game, and I have no clue what's about to happen. I think it was our very next game. If not, it was 1 or 2 games after the playing defense on offense or offense on defense situation. And she immediately goes in and she bangs in 2 threes, gives us our first lead of the game. It energizes the crowd, and we go on a win. And to have the courage as a 14-year-old to not be afraid of the moment and go and do that thing is another thing that makes Caroline special. Last, her character. She's not going to like this one either. So her senior year, we're kind of progressing. Her senior year, we're in the Lanier Land finals. I'm sorry, Miss Scott, you won a state title, so I can throw a jab. So we're in the Lanier Land finals, and it's 47-47. There's like 9 seconds left, and I went back and listened to the radio call afterwards, and Chad Pittman is saying, Caroline gets fouled. She's going to the line. I'm kind of relieved. This is going to be awesome. Caroline's going to hit these 2 free throws. She scored 1,000,000 points, and we're good. And she proceeds to miss the first one. And Mr. Pittman on the radio is like, oh, well, this second one's going to be a little harder. And then she misses the second one. And as soon as she shot it, she knew she missed it. She goes with a ton of effort, deflects the ball off the other team. We keep possession. And she comes to the bench, and she's mad. But she knows that we still have 8 seconds left or whatever it was left to play. And we end up being able to draw up a play. Caroline is a complete decoy, and her freshman sister, Allie J, ends up being able to make the game-winning shot. And at the end of that game, I've coached a lot of kids, and a lot of kids that have been very successful. And in moments that you don't perform up to your individual standards, it's very easy to be selfish and to be disappointed that I just missed 2 free throws in front of 2,500 people. And I let down my team. I did all those things. But there was never a moment of selfishness in her whole career or in that moment. Caroline just completely held high character. She hugged her teammates, she celebrated with her teammates, and she could not be happier regardless of what her individual performance was in that game and through her whole career. And she could not be more deserving of being the Female Athlete of the Year and receiving this Torch Award at Chestatee High School.
From Johnson High School, Male Athlete of the Year, Trey Gouget.
Hey, my name is Trey Gouget, and I'm captain of the wrestling team, captain of the football team, and I also played tennis this year. I am very honored and privileged to receive this Torch Award this year, as my senior year. And I would like to thank my wrestling coaches at my club, OSO, my coaches here at Johnson, Coach Cole, and I would like to thank my parents very much for supporting me throughout my career. And I'm glad to continue it this year or next year at Life University. Go Big Blue.
Presented by head coach Chad Cole.
Good evening. I've had the privilege to coach Trey for the last 4 years. I've known him since he was in middle school, but he's actually been in my room for the last 4 years, and it's been really cool to see him develop not only into an excellent athlete, but also a role model for his siblings who are all here, or mostly here, I believe. But also his teammates, team captain on the wrestling team, really high character kid. It's not just, his wrestling ability and his athletic ability, but he's one of the kids you don't have to worry about. I never had to worry about, hey, coach, can you come talk to me about one of your wrestlers? Trey Gouget's getting in trouble. That was never a conversation I ever had to have. And you don't know how grateful I am that I never had that conversation, because I've had it with plenty of my other kids. Sometimes wrestlers would get a little rowdy. But he's never been an issue character-wise, and to me, character is the thing that's going to outlast your athletic ability in the long run. Character is what you're going to be known for. That's who that's how people are going to know who you are and what kind of man you are. And I've seen his leadership skills develop. I've seen him kind of take on the role of leader, not even just vocally, just by example. And I hope that his brothers recognize the kind of example that he sets for them. Because I do it as well. I see the kind of man he's turning into, and it's been a privilege of mine just to be a part of it. As he said, he's had a lot of other coaches. I'm glad I was one of them, and hopefully something I've said sticks, and hopefully some of the training he's done in my room carries over and helps you to be successful later on in life as well. Multi-sport athlete, wrestling team captain, state placer, probably has the most wins in our history at Johnson. We don't keep great records in wrestling, but I'm almost positive he's got the most wins, almost 150 last I counted. Again, high character guy, really, really talented. I've been coaching for 15 years, and probably the most technically talented and gifted wrestler I've ever coached. But not just that, he's a high motor guy. He's a intrinsically motivated kid. He would leave our wrestling room pretty much most days and go to another practice. I didn't have to question his effort. I never had to worry about, is he really going to give me everything he's got to be successful? It was really clear early on that he was going to leave no doubt that he did everything he could be doing in order to be successful. And so, again, sometimes maybe you take that for granted as a coach, but I like to make sure I recognize that whenever I have that in the room, and I definitely recognize that in Trey. He's still training. I think he just won a Greco state title this past weekend. Wrestling ended for the school in February, so the kid's still in the room. As he said, he's signed to Life University, and I'm excited to see what you do at the next level. It's really cool to be able to continue that into college, so I'm proud of him, and I hope you know that I did everything I could to put you in position to be successful, even though sometimes he didn't always agree with the advice I was giving him on mat, I'll be honest. You get to that level, you start to be like, well, does he really know better than I do in this situation? And maybe sometimes I didn't, but again, you always knew what you were going to get with Trey. He's going to give it everything he's got, even if he gives himself a concussion, throwing kids off the mat, which happened a few times, and then sometimes he was just taking a break and resting mid-match, But, you got to play a game how it goes, right? I'm glad I got to be a part of his development, and honestly, if I had 10 more just like him, we'd win state every year, no problem. And so I'm excited to see what you got for us in store in the future. And without further ado, our Male Athlete of the Award, Torch Award winner at Johnson High School.
From Eastall High School, Female Athlete of the Year, Serenas Urazar.
I am honored to be awarded this award. I would like to thank Coach Lewis and all of those coaches that nominated me for this award. It is really an honor. I want to thank Mr. Rich for bringing me to this opportunity. I want to thank my family, my parents, for all their support and for helping me start with my soccer career, with my cross-country career. I want to thank Coach Lewis again for everything she has done for me. This soccer season has not been what I might have wanted it to be, this injury, but I am thankful for everything that happened. I'm thankful for getting a soccer scholarship at Trent McConnell. I am thankful for this award and all of the things that I have done through my high school career. Thank you for this award, and go Vikings.
Presented by head coach Diana Lewis.
I'll be quick because my AD told me if I take too long, I will get tomatoes thrown at me. So this past year, I had the honor of coaching the same high school soccer team that I was once a part of. So that was very special. Things were different from this perspective as a first-year head coach. I was no longer that shy girl who had no one to partner up with during partner touches or who would sit alone waiting for my ride. Now I was in charge of making sure none of my players had that same struggle. So as I analyzed the team dynamic this year, it became apparent that the solution to that problem was to have that piece that connected the entire puzzle. And this year, that was Serenas. She's a teammate that I wish I would have had 14 years ago. The teammate that makes everyone feel welcome. The teammate that offers rides and inspires us to achieve greatness every day, practice and games. The one who finished her mile in 7 minutes and then went back to help the last girl push through to the finish line. That was during tryouts. An interesting fact that Eastall soccer girls have only gone to state playoffs twice, and she was part of both teams that were on the state playoffs. There was a moment of reflection that I had after our match against Cedar Shoals, where Serenas tore her ACL this season. As I'm approaching Serenas, who was in terrible pain from the injury, I was fully expecting yelling, cursing, understandable, right? But I was very moved when I approached her and I heard her in prayer, telling God that she accepted his plan for her because it was greater than her own. What really speaks about her character is something she did after we came back from the pandemic. She helped organize a 7v7 tournament to gather funds for her custodians at her school. She made in gift baskets to show appreciation that they, to appreciate everything they did and continue to do for us. So to Serenas, estoy orgullosa de ti. Gracias por todo y te quiero mucho. Keep breaking barriers, even if you feel like you don't belong, because you do. And remember to always play to the final whistle. Thank you.
From North Hall High School, Male Athlete of the Year, Charlie House.
I'm Charlie House. I play football at North Hall High School, and I'm so thankful to be the recipient of the Torch Award from North Hall as a male athlete. This award means a lot to me because it shows how much the fruits of my labor have really come together and came to fruition. This couldn't have been possible without my mom, my dad, my coaches, the players who came before me, and the players who came after me, who poured into me, and then I got to pour into them. That's really what this award means, is just being able to pour yourself into other people. Thank you. Go Trojans.
Presented by head coach Sean Pender.
I'm feeling pretty fortunate tonight because this is the second time in 2 days I get to talk about this extremely talented young man and someone who definitely represents all these words right here that you see beside me. Charlie was able to sign with Augustina, right? I said it correct? Augustana, to play football up in near Chicago, Illinois, and you know, we were up on stage just yesterday morning celebrating some of the things he did. But tonight we get to recognize Charlie House as North Hall's representative for the Torch Award, and without question, Charlie embodies what this award really represents. His high character is led by his strong convictions that he has, and he, you know, in his moral compass. His courage, his extreme courage, his go-for-it attitude. You know, Charlie, you know, was an offensive lineman when I first got to North Hall several years ago, and he turned around and played defensive line for us this year because we needed him there. And what an impactful player he was his senior year to change so much of what he was doing on one side of the ball, then flip over to the other side of the ball because his team needed him there. And not only did he only did he perform at an outstanding level, he was also named Defensive Player of the Year at that level, and ended up having an opportunity to go on and play at the next level. Also, you know, we talk about courage and the extreme courage he has about going for it. Anytime I needed somebody to step up, I'd always ask Charlie. He was a team captain for us, and I would just, you know, go right to him. He was my go-to. You know, we're supposed to have, you know, we're supposed to be go-tos for our kids, but Charlie was my go-to. If I needed something done, I'd just go to Charlie House and ask him if he can do it. And whether he wanted to or not, he always stepped to the plate and did it. And majority of the times he did want to, and a lot of times that had to do with giving back to the community. And I really appreciate him for that. And then passion, you know, his relentless passion. Give you an example. Just tell you how much he embodies this. In our football locker room, or in the hallway going to our locker room, we have our core values, and our core values at North Hall's football team is effort, attitude, and toughness. And in doing that, we have, you know, with which words mean, like what effort means to us, what attitude means to us, what toughness means to us on the wall. And when we come with the extraordinary effort that Charlie always gives, it meant so much to us that we put Charlie's picture on the team wall next to effort. And you know what that basically says is, you know, we, talking about us at North Hall, we give relentless effort, and Charlie embraces every one of these words. We choose to give more than the average. We choose to keep trying and to never give up. Relentless effort is part of the culture here at North Hall. Our unfailing belief that focused, consistent effort will yield successful results. With this, we are able to solve problems we face both on and off the field. And Charlie, you embrace that, man, and we're very, very proud to have you part of this, part of our community. And you winning this award tonight is very well deserving. So congratulations, Charlie House, on receiving this well-deserved award. Thank you very much.
From Johnson High School, Female Athlete of the Year, Skylar Robinson.
Hi, my name is Skylar Robinson. I'm captain of the Johnson girls soccer team, and I'm so honored to be receiving the Torch Award. I want to thank my family, teachers, coaches, teammates, and friends for supporting me throughout my athletic journey. And go Big Blue.
Presented by head coach Phil Higgins.
Sorry, I'm realizing right now that I may need corrective lenses going forward here. So that's new. Okay. The reason I chose to nominate Skylar for the Torch Award is because Skylar's the type of player who I just think we need more of as an example to some of our younger athletes on the team. She never points fingers. It doesn't matter if it's school or sports. She never attributes success or failure to anything beyond what she can control. Often, As many athletes experience, this led Skylar to be exceptionally hard on herself, setting standards for her performance that would never allow her to be satisfied. Even as a freshman and sophomore, I would see her, even after a win sometimes, being visibly unsatisfied by the way she played, despite the encouragement she received from her coaches and teammates. She saw the game how a lot of us coaches want players to see it, as a continual work in progress, always looking forward to improving. As a sophomore, I had no doubt that by her senior year she was going to be a captain for our team. She shows selflessness and a willing to play any position we asked her to play. It was never where she wanted to play, it's where the team needed her. Even if that meant filling in for her sister when she got a red card suspension. Skylar took on any new role without complaints, but just worked so hard for her team. Everyone on the team knew that she isn't the type of player to ever put herself first, and they all respected her for that. However, I know the one thing that will be a forever memory of me about, for me about Skylar is her ability to express the joy and laughter. She has a very distinct laugh that doesn't only make you want to know what was so funny, but you also want to know why Skylar thought something was so funny. I know every girl that she led on the team this year may not remember her jersey number or her stats or the games that she played tremendous in and excelled at, but they're going to remember how she made them feel forever, and that goes for me as well. It was my pleasure to play a small part in your growth, Skylar, and development as a player, and I know she's going to bring that same success with her to the University of Georgia this fall. Thanks.
From West Hall High School, Male Athlete of the Year, Will Holman.
Hey there, I'm Will Holman, senior at West Hall High School. Was awarded for the torch ceremony tonight to where I played basketball and tennis for my school. Shout out to everyone who is watching this tonight. Thank you.
Presented by head coach Chuck Graham.
Will Holman. When you take over a program, there are always a lot of unknowns. You step into a new situation, hoping to build something special, a culture that lasts, but you're not sure who's going to buy in right away. I remember praying during that first season that just to have one player who would buy in to what we're truly trying to accomplish on and off the court. My prayers were answered with Will Holman. Will just didn't buy in, he lives out all of our Spartan core values. He's a high character young man. He excels in the classroom, and in the community, he's all about serving others. But what I most appreciate about Will is how he shows up. He's always early to practice, he's prepared, he sets the tone in the gym, and he's a great teammate, encouraging others and holding guys accountable. And he also leads by example. And you know, you don't build a program without guys like Will. And he's left his mark in Sparta that goes well beyond the scoreboard. And I just like a couple of stories about Will. He's very loyal. You know, anyone who knows Will, they understand that he's the biggest Georgia Tech fan in the world. So going into his senior year, well, going into his junior year, we go to team camp at UGA. And Will is so loyal that he doesn't take the free camp shirt, the Georgia camp shirt. And I was like, I love this guy. I can roll with that. But Will also has a big heart. He has a great heart. Of course, you know, I went to Florida State, and Georgia Tech and Florida State played a game this year in Ireland. And Will and I had a friendly wager about 25 burpees for the loser of the game. So after practice in, I'm preparing to do my burpees as Florida State blew the game. And Will comes to me and says, Coach, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it. So I appreciate that for you, son. I appreciate that for you. But I just love to tell Will, man, I appreciate everything you've done for Sparta. I love you, and keep doing great things.
From Cherokee Bluff High School, Female Athlete of the Year, Genesis Gomez.
Hi, my name is Genesis Gomez, and I play soccer here at Cherokee Bluff. I want to say thank you to my parents for always supporting me and my family. They've just always been a solid rock for me. My coaches, they push me day in and day out, whether I like it or not, and my teammates, they make it easy to compete, even on the hardest days. And I'm also super thankful for God for giving me the ability to even play in the first place. He never fails to remind me that what I do on the field doesn't matter, because his love for me still continues despite what I do. And I'm just so grateful to receive this award, because it's a big thing, especially in this community. And just go Bears.
Presented by head coach Heath Padgett.
First of all, our program has been around for 7 years now, which is pretty incredible to think about. Ms. Gomez has been a part of that program for 4 of those years. I've been a part of the boys the whole time, but had the privilege to take over the girls program 2 years ago. The opportunity to coach a player like this, it doesn't come along very often. I'm extremely grateful for that. She has proven to be a top player in our area. She's built our program, along with a small group of girls that are seniors this year. As a freshman, she started, and that team was absolutely loaded with talent. She stood out. She played left winger, accumulating many assists that season. As a freshman, she stood out with those girls. Her role over the last 2 years has changed. Instead of playing on the outside, I played her in the middle, which takes on a lot of responsibility for the way we play. That being said, stats are pretty easy to read. She's got 49 goals in her career and 53 assists, which is pretty incredible for where she's played. Not to mention, she's coming back from a knee injury from her junior year that she missed more than half the season. Very difficult to do, very difficult to sit as a coach and watch a player who loves her team tremendously, who loves each and every one of her teammates. And that's what, in my opinion, allows her to be standing up here tonight. She not only loves the game, she knows each and every one of her players as an individual. She knows what's going to motivate them as a team. And that's why we have been able to be so successful. Going to 3 Final Fours in her 4 years at Cherokee Bluff. She's fought through those injuries. She's come back as a leader. She maintains balance with all of her commitments. On and off the field, she'll graduate with a 3.88 GPA, which is absolutely incredible when you take into consideration all of these things that these kids are doing off the field these days. Her love for God, her love for her family, her love for her school, her teammates, and just for life itself. When you show up at a training session and Genesis isn't smiling, you know there's probably something going on. You know if the other players around her aren't smiling, there's probably something going on. But her love for life just shows why she should be up here. I appreciate everything she's put into her program, and she is one of the most deserving players I've ever seen for this award. So, Genesis Gomez.
From Chestatee High School, Male Athlete of the Year, Eli Chafin.
Hello, my name is Eli Chafin, and I play baseball at Chestatee. This award just reminded me of how God has blessed me in my life, and as well as how He's worked through it. And it also is just a reminder of all the hard work and setbacks that I've had to go throughout my career. Also, just want to thank my parents and my teammates, as well as my coaches, who have just poured so much effort and time into my career and my playing abilities. And last but not least, I want to thank God for just how He's worked in my life and everything He's done through me. Thank you, and go War Eagles.
Presented by head coach Griffin Olson.
While I sit here and look at Eli standing there, I mean, I just can't be more than anything but proud. You know, you're consistent, you're constant here at Chess T. And I think those are two of the, you know, best traits to describe a person. You know what you're going to get, you show up, you work hard. You know, that was me just going off script there, but I do have what I actually want to say about you. You know, as a coach, I think we all find ourselves thinking about what makes a student athlete easy to coach. I think we've all coached kids that are easy to coach and kids that are not easy to coach. And to me personally, that is someone who's accountable, trustworthy, dedicated to the process, whether that be in the weight room, the classroom, and practicing hard every day, and someone who just competes at a high level for the obvious ups and downs of an athletic season. Or I can make it really simple for you guys and say one name that encompasses all those things, and that's Eli Chafin. I've known him for 2 years now as his coach. For those that don't know, it is extremely difficult for a young athlete to play for multiple coaches throughout their high school career. So Eli, I want to thank you for welcoming me to Chess T and giving me your 100% buy-in from day one. Now to brag on him a little bit for baseball, Eli's been an all-region performer for both years that we've been together at Chess T. He's left his name all over the record books here. He's the all-time stolen base leader here at Chess T. He's broken the doubles record here at Chess T. This season, Eli led our team in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, hits, doubles, runs, walks. I could go on forever, so you guys get it. He's really good at baseball. Also, after not pitching hardly at all his junior season, he quickly became one of our most important pitchers, throwing our third most innings, led our team in wins, had the best ERA on our team, and I'm extremely proud to see you pursue your dream at Toccoa Falls College here in the fall. He has really solidified his legacy here at Chess T. I think that goes from admin to coaches to his AP teachers all the way down to his weight training coaches. He's a passionate leader in this community, puts others first every single day. I literally don't see a time that you're doing anything for yourself. You're the most unselfish person that I know, and it's a really extremely rare character trait. And I'm going to use this opportunity I love listening to, I don't really know what to call you. I'm kind of young. Charlie, Mr. Culberson, Charlie. Okay, I'll call you Charlie. But for those of you that do know me, I'm fascinated by athletes that play their sport at the highest level. I think it's amazing, so I commend you for doing that. We actually have a rare opportunity here at Chess T to where we actually have a major league pitcher come and throw to our guys as he's preparing for spring training. So I don't know the baseball careers of anybody sitting out in the crowd, but as of right now, I believe in the room, Charlie Culberson and Eli Chafin are the only two that have a hit off a major league pitcher. So really cool. I'll finally give that one to you. I know I didn't on that day, but I'll say it in front of everybody. I'll count it as a hit. And again, Eli, I could stand here and give example after example of the major impact you've made on Chess T and the impact you've made on me as a coach, but you're going to show your impact moving through everyday life. So again, super proud of you, buddy.
From North Hall High School, Female Athlete of the Year, Mary Eloise Timchuk.
Hi, my name is Mary Eloise Timchuk. I'm from North Hall High School. I run cross country, I swim, I play tennis, and I run track. I'm so grateful for being the Torch Award winner. It has meant the world to me. Coming into 9th grade, not having a single athletic bone in my body, to now, 4 years later, showing all the discipline and hard work that has been put into this North Hall community and these people. I'd like to thank my parents, my Heavenly Father, my community, my coaches, and my teams for all that they've done for me and for all that I've been able to do for them. I'm so grateful and so happy and cannot say anything else besides that. Thank you so much, and go Trojans.
Presented by head coach Sam Borg.
All right, good evening. So North Hall Cross Country, we try to be a family and get to know one another so many miles. And one day I said, Mary Eloise, what is your middle name? And she said, Eloise. And I said, you have 2 middle names? And since that day, I've referred to her as Mary Eloise Timchuk. So I introduced her to you today. This is going to be impossible. I love you. And if I mess up from here on, you know how I feel about you. Mary Eloise Timchuk, I want to start kind of with the torch, right? It's a fire. And she leads worship at our FCA for our student body with the piano. She sings, and she shared at her church a couple weeks ago. And her mom sent me the video of what she shared in that service, and she spoke about how important it was that she, as a runner and in track and cross country, she uses a Sharpie, kind of strange, and draws a cross on the back of her calf as kind of a tribute and a dedication to why she runs. So something that started with a 2020 Torch Award winner, actually, at North Hall, and it's kind of carried on that tradition. So I say that to represent her, because if she was standing here, that's probably what she would share about. So that's where her torch begins. That's where it starts. And everything else is just kind of a fruit of that, right? That's who she is. She's a 4-sport athlete. She's a 4-sport varsity letter winner. And as an athletic director, I don't know that I necessarily encourage that craziness, but she did it, and she did it really successfully. Cross country, she was a varsity cross country runner on our team that has won several Hall County and region championships, and this year was the first ever state championship in the history of the school in girls cross country. So that was a big moment for our school, and she's on that team. So good job, Mary Louise. And then she goes to the pool in the winter, and they've won 7 in a row Hall County Hall County Swim Championships. In the spring, she plays tennis and runs track. So tennis, they went to the Final Four last year. They went to the Elite Eight this year. And then in track last weekend, she's on the state championship 4x800 meter relay team. So she's going to get another ring. So another round of applause for her state championship. Academically, she's a full IB student. That means every time the bell rings, you are getting after it academically. She'll be on our stage at graduation. She's one of those type of students. Last year, she was the youth governor of Georgia, which means she participated with student government and not only was a leader in that room, but was nominated amongst those leaders as the youth governor of Georgia. So hopefully that Ms. Timchuk can count on your vote here in the near future. She's with our captain's table at school. The list of clubs, with these students, the list of clubs is incredible. It goes all the way down to the floor, but hopefully that paints a picture of who she is. That's the goal tonight, right? I have a quick story. One morning, 6 o'clock a.m. practice, she got there at 6:28. And no anxiety, you're okay. She got there at 6:28, and normally if a student gets there at 6:04, Coach Borg is not okay. Like you're gonna get the father face in the cafeteria and in the hallway all day long because you were 4 minutes late to practice, and you're going to know that you're late to practice. 6:28, we had already begun our run. She parks her vehicle and runs, and I could tell she kind of was finding me. So she kind of started running, where is he? She came to me just, Coach Borg! And I mean bawling. It was a breakdown moment. When you have a long list like this, sometimes you break down, right? We can't handle it. And so in that moment, I did not get onto her. It was just a full hug. It was one of those moments, right, where you had a kind of a daughter type of a moment where she was broken down. And later that morning, she had some students pray over her, and I'll never forget that day. A young woman who was so strong, I saw some weakness, and it was awesome to see some weakness because we are all weak at times, and we need others. So that was great. I want to end with what she ended in her mom's video, back to the Sharpie on the leg. She shared, "Rejoice in the Lord always. Let people see the cross marked by Sharpie. Chains or no chains, rejoice in the Lord." And that message from Mary Eloise Timchuk. Good job.
From East Hall High School, Male Athlete of the Year, Sebastian Salache.
Hello, I'm Sebastian Salache. I am captain of this year's wrestling team. I would like to thank my coaches, Coach Clayton, Coach Fletcher, and Coach Pruitt for working with me this season, wins and losses. And I'd also like to thank my teammates for giving me a family outside of my house family. I plan on being a game warden straight out of high school, going to North Georgia Tech. And again, I am very honored to be part of this organization at East Hall High School. And I'd just like to thank them for giving me the opportunity to express myself in sports along with my education. Thank you, East Hall. Go Vikings.
Presented by head coach Stephen Clayton.
Hi,
I was incredibly thankful to have Sebastian on my team this year as a first-year coach at a brand new school. We've heard it tonight. You don't know what you're getting into, and first week of conditioning, it was very apparent that Sebastian was the leader of the team. He was the most excited, the most enthused. He was always in the front of the mix, and I was really excited about what I had in him. And then we got in the wrestling room, and I talked to my assistant, and I was like, he's a senior, right? And they're, yeah. He's like, he doesn't know as much as I feel like he should, you know? And come to find out, he was a second-year wrestler. And I think that speaks even more to his leadership ability, which again is what this award is about. He led without abandon, or with abandon, I don't know which one that was. He was the leader, and the people followed him despite only having 2 years, no, 1 year experience under the belt. And I think despite his coaching, he managed to go on and become a match away from placing or qualifying for the state tournament as a second-year wrestler, and that is impressive. And I can't say enough about him. When my AD sent out an email saying, "Hey, who are the leaders of your team? Who's the one person to receive this award? Here are the characteristics." He was no-brainer. He was my man. So I'm proud of him, and I'm again thankful. I'm sad that I only had 1 year to work with you, but I'm looking forward to the number afterwards. So, well done, Sebastian.
From Flowery Branch High School, Female Athlete of the Year, Jaden Taylor.
Hi, my name is Jaden Taylor, and I cheer on 2 varsity cheerleading teams. I was the captain of basketball, and I'd like to shout out Coach K, Coach Brumblow, and Coach Lawler. I am so honored to have received this award. It really shows that hard work pays off. Go Falcons!
Presented by head coach Lara Komanecki.
So like a lot of these kids, Jaden is essentially a dream to coach. This was my first year, not coaching, but my first year coaching at Flowery Branch. And the first time that I met Jaden was before our season started, and she came in like with a notebook and a whole list of ideas and things, and she was so prepared, and I thought, this is either gonna be my favorite kid ever, or what have I gotten myself into? I don't know yet. And it turned out to be the most delightful thing in the world. Jaden is exceptional at everything she does. She's an exceptional athlete. She's an exceptional person. She's good at everything she does because she works hard at everything that she does. And she holds herself to a standard that is just completely unreasonable. But I've never known someone with expectations for herself as high as Jaden. And I think my favorite thing about her is that she has a way of leading by example and encouraging people around her without ever letting it show that she's stressed or that anything is difficult, even when things are incredibly difficult. And that is something that even as adults we struggle to do, so I think it's really special for a teenager to have that just natural ability. She just always does the right thing, and you can always count on her. Her peers always look to her for guidance, and I'm like, you couldn't look to a better person for that. So I'm just really thankful to have had that time with her. When I think about character in Jaden, it's obvious in everything that she does. I've never heard a bad word about her. She's tougher on herself than anyone could ever be. She is passionate in everything that she does. She works hard at everything that she does. When I think about courage in Jaden, I think about the courage it takes to be a leader of your peers and how much harder it is than sometimes we give the kids credit for. Especially, I don't know if you've ever worked with a group of 20 cheerleaders, but it can be kind of intense, and it's hard to lead them. And Jaden does it very well, and she deserves more recognition for that probably than she gets. But it takes courage to go against the grain sometimes and always advocate for what is right and what's best, even when it's not necessarily what your peers want. And I'm very proud of her for always being able to do that. The last thing that I'll say about Jaden is that she is going to go to Georgia Southern in the fall. She wants to be a teacher, And I think the thing that makes, we all feel that like tingly happiness when kids that we teach or coach want to be teachers. But I think about all of the like countless numbers of kids that Jaden will work with and maybe coach one day, and how many lives she'll impact if she chooses that career. And it just makes me so genuinely happy. I can't think of a better person for our young people to learn from. So congratulations, Jaden.
From Flowery Branch High School, Male Athlete of the Year, David Miller.
My name is David Miller. I play golf at Flowery Branch High School. I'm going to play golf at Johnson University next year. I thank God for this opportunity to get this award, and I thank my whole family for just being supportive throughout this entire journey. And go Falcons.
Presented by head coach Kim Satterfield.
Good evening, and this has been a great opportunity for, especially for David, to just hear some of the things, because he started a struggle a couple of years ago, and to see him become a different person in a year has been remarkable. I first met him about 4.5 years ago when I met his dad when I started coaching golf, and his dad was at Legacy as the pro there, and he had informed me that he had a son coming up next year, and I was like, well, does he play golf? And he said, he does, but baseball's his love. And I was like, huh, okay. So his freshman year, he came into the gym. He was in another gym class, but I got to meet him and talk to him, and I kept asking him, hey, don't you want to play golf? And he was like, no, Coach Satterfield, I don't. I really love baseball. And I'm like, okay. So sophomore year, same thing. I'm still trying to get him to play golf, and he's like, I just can't do it. I love baseball. And I said, okay. So then last year, in the spring of last year, he came to me, and we were talking just as normal, and he was telling me about some struggles with his shoulder and injuries, and how he was kind of getting depressed, and it was getting rough on him and tough on him to continue with that baseball career. And I asked him to talk to his baseball coaches and talk to his parents and see how golf could fit into his life. And I think he is beyond grateful for that as much as I am. He had a dream to play college baseball, to be that person. And through his hard work, dedication, commitment to his team, he became fully committed to our golf program in October. When we have our FCA scramble every Tuesday, he would show up, he would play. He was a competitor. He was also a helper. And for someone who, I forget when we would go to tournaments that he had never even played in a tournament or in a match or anything like that in high school. And he would come to me and ask me what I thought at the time was a stupid question. And then he would look at me and say, but I've never done this before. And I'm like, you're right. So his questions weren't so stupid. I was just thinking he knew that, but he didn't. This year, he led our team to a second place finish at the Hall County Championship. He also shot a 71 at the area tournament and was in a tie for the low medalist. It's still kind of hard news for both of us. He went into a 2-hole playoff and eventually lost to a player from Walnut Grove. He would have been the second player that I'd ever taken from the boys team to the state tournament. So he's just, I mean, stats don't measure up with this child. He's a believer in Christ. He's so committed to his church. He's actually, tomorrow, is actually preaching to his youth group. And he's talked to me about it, told me all about it. He's so excited about it. And to see him come from losing a love of a sport that he had to becoming an awesome golfer this year and coming to me at the end of our season and saying, this is the most fun I've ever had on a team. That makes your heart hurt. But I am so thankful for you, for your family and the things that you've accomplished. He does have a dream still, but it's to go play golf instead of baseball at the next level. So David, I am so thankful for you and honored for you. Congratulations.
From West Hall High School, Female Athlete of the Year, Kayla Raddick.
My name is Kayla Raddick. I play basketball, golf, and softball. And I want to say thank you to my family, friends, and coaches, especially Coach Reed and Coach Doster. And I'm super honored to be winning this award. Thank you, and go Spartans.
Presented by head coach Brandon Humphreys.
So I'm not Brandon Humphreys. My name is Brooke Shannon, or Brooke Reed. Whatever, got married. Anyway, kind of a full circle moment here. Coach Raddick, right here, actually taught me in high school. And so now I get the opportunity to have taught Kayla and EJ. The only one wasn't Chloe, but we'll let that go. But I'm super honored to be able to teach and coach Kayla for the last 4 years in basketball. Kayla, I don't know if you guys have these athletes, but you have athletes that you feel like have been there for way more than 4 years. Anybody? Not in a bad way, but Kayla's just, it's going to be weird without her because she's always there. And that's one thing I want to hit on today. Kayla was always somebody that showed up, not just to show up to get a recognition, but showed up ready to work, ready to serve, ready to pour out everything she had for her school, for her classmates, her teammates, and everything. Her caring, dedicated, and reliable nature has made an everlasting impact throughout her years at West Hall. And that's, as a coach, I feel like that's all you can ask for is somebody that's ready to show up, ready to work, ready to learn, ready to get better, and serve her team to the best of her ability. Kayla is a true Spartan and an embodiment of what it means to be principled, driven, and united. Kayla Raddick, everybody.
So everyone, I'm Eric Raddick. I have the privilege of serving as Assistant Athletic Director for the school district. And you athletes, some of you guys are competing at the next level, and some of you have stopped competing. But this coach has one more word for you. A quick story. A young girl went to her grandmother and told her about life and how things were hard for her. She didn't know how she was going to make it and wanted to give up. She was tired of fighting and struggling. It seemed that one problem was solved and a new one arose. Her grandmother took her to the kitchen. She filled 3 pots with water and placed each of them on the fire. Soon the pots began to boil. In the first, she placed carrots. In the second, she placed eggs. And in the third, she placed coffee beans. She let them sit and boil without saying a word. And in about 20 minutes, she turned off the burners. She fished the carrots out and placed them in a bowl. She pulled the eggs out and placed them in a bowl. She ladled the coffee out and placed it in a bowl. Turning to her granddaughter, she asked, "Tell me, what do you see?" "Carrots, eggs, and coffee." The young girl replied. The grandmother brought her closer and asked her to feel the carrots. She did and noted they were soft. She then asked her to take the egg and break it. After pulling off the shell, she observed a hard-boiled egg. Finally, she asked her to sip the coffee. The granddaughter smiled as she tasted its rich aroma. The granddaughter then asked, what does it mean, grandmother? Her grandmother explained that each of the objects had faced the same adversity, the boiling water, but each reacted differently. The carrot went in strong, hard, unrelenting. However, it became subject to the boiling water, and it became softened and weak. The egg had been fragile. Its thin outer shell had protected its liquid interior, but after sitting through the boiling water, its inside became hardened. The coffee beans were unique, however. They were in the boiling water, and they had changed the water. Which are you, the grandmother asked her granddaughter. When adversity knocks on your door, how will you respond? Are you a carrot, an egg, or a coffee bean? I want to challenge each one of us in here. Athletes, you've been talked to a lot, but there's also us parents, grandparents, friends, and adults. And I would challenge all of us, not just in adversity, but in life. What are you? Are you somebody who will impact the environment around you? I want to encourage us all to be like that coffee bean. Charlie talked about attitude, commitment, and effort. He even mentioned being that glue guy, that glue girl. And that's not just on an athletic team, that's in life. And so as you depart this journey, and this is often what you're going to hear over the next couple weeks as seniors, I encourage you, this is not the end, but the beginning of another season. And I encourage us all to be a coffee bean. Athletes, on your way out, please feel free to take pictures with your banner, and then athletic directors will help you take it down so you can take it home. Also, your athletic director has a box for your awards. Coaches have a box and a gift for you as well. And then Charlie's also going to be around to take some pictures and hang out for just a little bit. So with that said, on behalf of our athletic directors, our principals, our superintendent, and our Board of Education, I want to thank you all for being here. Good night.